I grew up with Jake and Mac as like my best friends growing up. Like he'd had a few beers, I'd had a few beers. It was very much like, yeah, cool man, yeah, like get hold of me, we'll see how it goes. Quorum's something that was never like planned and it was never thought out or regimented. Quorum's just happened and it is where it is now. I'm with like three of my best friends in the world and we're doing what we love.
It's not the same anymore. Do you still wanna move up north? Can we go back to before, when it was different?
So yeah, at the start of the year, we went up to Momentum Studios in Plymouth. We went up there and recorded our newest EP, The Death of Intellectual Success. All of those songs were over lockdown, so I had nothing going on in my life other than the fact that I was in a relationship that was breaking down and not working. And to listen to what we'd sort of like got down just on my laptop in like my front room or like Mac's bedroom and just like throwing back at each other, the transition of that to go to the studio and the songs like be realised into what they are now was like wild. It was such a crazy thing to listen to like these weird little songs that like sounded horrific, recorded like with one guitar and a keyboard for drums, to then go to be really put down properly in a studio. It was just like a crazy transition of how those songs became what they are now. Still Can't See was our like leading single from the EP. For me, that's what the song's about, is towards the end of that relationship that I was in and sort of consoling my friends and asking them what I should do and them telling me that it was quite clearly over and I need to let it go, and just having that in me where like I think really in my head I knew that, but there's something in you that doesn't want to let go of it, which is such an illogical part of your brain and such like stupid, like looking back at it now, how like willingly blind I was to that situation. But yeah, still can't see, I guess. The title track of the EP is The Death of Intellectual Success, and I think a lot of the inspiration for that song came from, again, me being sat at home and having nothing to do when I wasn't sat writing the EP, was just flicking through TV and realising how like asinine reality television is. Like, it sounds awful and I know it's popular and people love it, but like things like Love Island, which wasn't on at the time, but there were loads of reruns and people talking about it on like Twitter and things like that. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna give it a go, have a watch and see what it's about. And I've realised that these people are on these shows and put themselves out there and do things that they probably aren't proud of and aren't happy with. And I'll happily put my hands up if I'm wrong. But they're there for the explicit purpose of being famous. And they're not famous for anything in particular, they're famous for the sake of being famous. And as somebody who like, I don't know, I don't want to sound pretentious, but as somebody who like puts a lot into like what we do to hopefully get somewhere one day, nothing infuriates me more than somebody who's like got a platform and a name and all of this attention for doing nothing.
Well, if you're leaving behind, do you think they won't mind? Well, do you think you'll be happier? You say it's different this time, one day you're gonna find that you'll never be happier.
Sea Breeze is a song, it's a song that I wrote when I was really, really angry at one of my friends. It's hard, it's weird when you're angry at your friend or somebody you care about when they're going through a hard time and you can't really express that to them. So I guess I did what every like cringy artist does and puts it in a song. But yeah, my friend was going through a really hard time and it was, I'll be honest with you, a lot of it was sort of not self-inflicted, but certainly not helped by that person, and they sort of fell back into a lot of bad habits and just had a lot of repeating behaviours of things that were definitely not helping them, and they sort of wanted to blame the world for that. And it's hard to tell somebody that everything they think they're doing is wrong, because, like, you know what I mean? Like, nobody wants to hear that when you're in a bad place. But this person just sort of got to a point where they're like, I'm going to move away and everything is going to be better because I don't know anybody. I'm not going to know anybody there, and I'm going to start again. And Seabreeze was just sort of about, like, that's, like, I get that you think that and you want to move away, but one, you're gonna hurt a lot of people that are, like, here and want to be here for you now. And secondly, like, you're the reason for your behaviours that are making you unhappy. So moving away isn't gonna change any of that. You're gonna be in the same situation around people that you don't know, and that's not gonna make things any easier for you, really.
Where you are, it's in you.
The last two songs we recorded were the intro track, Prologue, and Somnolent, which are the two instrumental tracks. And it's so weird because I've, like, I think when I was younger and I listened to bands that had sort of instrumental tracks, I don't know the word, but I was so not interested by them. I was like, this is boring, get rid of that. But, like, I think as I've got older and started just appreciating music for what it is more, those songs to me are way more interesting now than the singles and the big tracks you get off of albums. Yeah, so the other song on our EP is called You Said, and that song was, for me, sort of about coming to terms with the fact that I wasn't in love with somebody anymore, which is a really weird thing to come to terms with somebody. I lived with this girl and I was with her for like years and years and years. So I think at that point, when you realise that something's coming to an end, it's hard to sort of accept, because, like, that relationship becomes sort of like your life and like your routine. So you look at it so differently. But there's a lyric in that song that always really stands out to me, and sort of was like the turning point in my head where I realised that sort of the relationship I'm in probably isn't where I should be. And the lyric is, I went to buy some cigarettes because the girl who works there always smiles, and then it hit me, it's because me and you haven't really done that for a while.
I went to buy some cigarettes, 'cause the girl who works there always smiles. And then it hit me, it's because me and you haven't really done that in a while.
And I got home and I wrote that lyric into a song, and I didn't really think anything of it. Like, it happened and, like, whatever. And then I sort of got home and I listened to that song back, and it was sort of just like a, fuck, what am I doing? It was such a crazy, like, moment. I had a complete, not breakdown, but I had a real, like, moment of realization over the course of about 3 days of, like, just realizing that I'd written it down and put it into a song before I'd really realised it or, like, accepted it myself.
You said